Hello friends, I am Dr. Deepak Garg. I am an orthopedic surgeon and today we will discuss about anterior approach to hip. This is also called Smith-Peterson approach. This approach is mainly used for open reduction of congenital hip dislocations, synovial biopsies, intra-articular hip joint fusion, total hip replacement, hemiarthroplasty or excision of bone tumors. So we keep the patient in a supine position. We will keep the sandbag on the ipsilateral side and we will use a side support on the opposite side so that when we will apply a force on the hip joint, the patient will not slide on the other side. Then we do the painting draping and we will mark the surgical landmarks. We will mark the anterior superior iliac spine and then we will mark the iliac crest. After that we will mark the skin incision. It is a 8 to 10 centimeter long skin incision. We will start from the anterior half of the iliac spine. We will go towards the anterior superior iliac spine and then we will curve the incision vertically downwards towards the lateral side of the patella. And the length of the incision will depend on the need during the surgery. And after that we will have the subcute. We will cut the subcute in line with the skin incision. So when we will cut the subcute, we will have to keep in mind that we have to protect the nerve, lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh. So this nerve lies lateral to the sartorius muscle, and this when we will cut the deep fascia, we should try to stay on the lateral sides towards the tensor fascial lata muscle, and so that we will be able to protect the nerve and will not injure the nerve. So let's little bit understand about the anatomy of this compartment of thigh. So this line is showing the inguinal ligament. This is a sartorius muscle. This is a rectus femoris muscle, and this is showing the tensor fascial lata and iliotibial tract. And this muscle lies between the rectus femoris and tensor fascial lata is a vastus lateralis muscle. And these are the main vessels. These are the femoral vessels, and the femoral nerve lies just lateral to the femoral artery. So keeping this in mind, let's go back to the approach. So we keep the patient's limb in full external rotation so that we will be able to stretch the sartorius muscle, and then we identify the gap between the sartorius and tensor fascial lata by just finger palpation. The best way to identify the gap between the two muscles is we stay 4 to 5 centimeters below the anterior superior iliac spine. With the finger palpation we identify this gap, and once we identify this gap, we dissect the gap downside. So after we dissected the gap, we separate the two muscles. Then we will retract the sartorius muscle on the upwards and medially, and we retract the tensor fascial lata and iliotibial tract on the downwards and lateral. So sometimes we may have to detach the iliac origin of the tensor fascial lata to expose the deep structures. So once we do these retractions, then we will be able to expose the deep structure. So let's just understand the anatomy of the deep structures after the retraction of the sartorius and the tensor fascial lata. So this muscle in front is a rectus femoris muscle, and this is a vastus lateralis muscle supplied by the superior gluteal nerve, and these are the vessels. These are the lateral circumflex femoral artery. We need to identify these vessels. We need to ligate these vessels, otherwise they may bleed profusely and they may trouble us during the surgery. And this muscle on the upper side is a gluteus minimus muscle, and this is a gluteus medius muscle. And if we look at the anatomy of the rectus femoris in detail, so this muscle is having two heads. One is a direct head which is arising from the anterior inferior iliac spine. Another is a reflected head which has an origin from the superior lip of acetabulum and anterior capsule of hip joint. So now if we want to go to the hip joint, we may have to dissect or separate this reflected head from the capsule, and which may be difficult sometimes. So we should know this anatomy, and keeping this anatomy in mind, let's go back to the approach. So in the deeper plane, let's find a plane between the rectus femoris muscle and the gluteus medius muscle in the proximal part of the hip. So once we find this interval, we detach the rectus femoris from both of its origins and retract the muscle medially. We have to be confirmed that this is a rectus femoris muscle. We can do this by palpating the femoral. It should be way medial to the rectus femoris muscle, and then we retract the gluteus medius on the lateral side, and this way we will be able to expose the hip joint capsule. Here again we need to understand some basic anatomy. So if we look on the medial side of the capsule, we can see a yellow line. This is a femoral nerve, and the muscle above which this femoral nerve is lying, this muscle is a iliopsoas muscle. So we can see that the iliopsoas muscle along with the femoral nerve going to the lesser trochanter is crossing through the hip joint capsule. It is lying above the hip joint capsule. So sometimes we may have to release the iliopsoas from the capsule, and so that we can retract this muscle medially along with the femoral nerve. There are special retractors available in the market, so that we can apply the retractor on the pelvic brim and we can retract this muscle on the medial side. So then we will take a cut on the hip joint capsule. We can take either a longitudinal cut or a T-shaped cut, and then we retract the capsule, and once we do that, we will be able to expose the hip joint from the anterior side. So this was the anterior approach to the hip. For more such video, please like, share and subscribe to our channels. So thank you guys, thank you very much.